All right, we are live now. Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you join from the world. Welcome to Delhi Tech Community's Microsoft Build After Party and monthly meetup of July 2024. Today we have very good sessions going forward. So almost from 10 to 12:30 we are targeting for this event, and we'll start our journey first with Sanjeev sir's session. Sanjeev sir's need no introduction because he came across to Delhi community multiple times, and this time as well he is coming with one amazing topic which you will definitely love to see, specifically on the power platform and health industries. So he will walk us through around that. After his session, we will be having the build after party where specifically we are having the different flavors of build update as well as power platform release wave 2 updates. So we are having this is more about like all the tech communities organizer will going to talk about few things. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the wave 2 release plan for power apps, power automate, power pages. Rajendra also have a few things, a few new updates, and Abhinav is also going to talk about some fabric updates. So it's full-fledged session and all about new what's coming up next versus what is already now, as well as what is come up as a part of security. We'll talking about all of those aspects into next 2.5 hours. So stay tuned with us throughout this event. This event is broadcasting on our Microsoft Teams lives as well as on YouTube live as well. On YouTube live description box, there is a link to join the Teams live as well, where you can ask the question, communicate with us as well. So join there as well. And I think I'm not taking more time from here, and I will like to hand over the stage to Sanjeev sir. You can go ahead, give your introduction, and start with your session. Thank you
You
so
know,
much.
Dhruvin, thank you so very much. I cannot thank you enough, Dhruvin, Aro, Abhinav, Rajendra, right? I mean, it's incredibly, incredibly kind of you to give me this opportunity to be in front of you and do a little bit of an extended session. So this is going to be about 45 minutes to an hour long, but it's going to be a deeply personal session. I'll be talking about my own health, my metrics, my dad's metrics, so on and so forth. And the fundamental reason why I'm doing this is, if you look at India broadly, about 39 to 40% of Indians are vegetarians. And, a little bit more will be, look, I eat meat on these days, but I don't eat meat on these particular days. Like, they'll say, hey, look, on certain days, I'm not going to have like, chicken or whatever, things like that, right? So if you broadly extend that to a little bit around chicken or whatever, or that goes to even greater a percent. I'm not exactly sure what that is, maybe in the 60s. But then pure vegetarian, that's almost 39 to 40%. That's over 500 million people. 500 million people, right? And then if you take basically, a small minor adjustment in the diet, and I don't mean major, small minor adjustment in the diet for those people, you can actually grow younger, right? I mean, the punchline is you can grow younger. Forget about being disease free and things like that. So you don't even go towards the disease. You actually become younger. That's the whole story. And I've been sort of a living proof for that. I'll walk you through what that actually means. Now, having said that, I know that Indian food, maybe Italian food, maybe I don't know, some components, if you will, of Mediterranean food, and then some components of Chinese food is the reason why we have healthcare. I know that, right? Especially Indian food. Oh my God, just the vegetarian food alone, Indian food can actually put you in the hospital. It is so tasty, so amazing, right? So I know that it's a major adjustment in mindset, but it's a minor adjustment in the diet, right? Literally minor adjustment in the diet, right? So that's the journey that I want to walk you through. In the process, we'll actually talk through all the tools that we use, be it either the hardware that we use or the Microsoft technology that we actually use, so on and so forth. Okay. So what I'll do is let me actually take myself off of candid camera because we'll need probably the camera for something else. And let me share my screen with you. Kindly let me know if you can see my screen. Can,
Yep.
right? So basically, the broad agenda is the stakeholders are of our health, are us and our loved ones, be it either friends or family and friends. And the reason for this is, when we are in our, like, 20s is a different point in time. But then when you're in your, let us say, mid 30s and 40s and 50s, maybe like, mid 60s, until then we get so occupied with our family and our work, right? Especially work. I mean, you guys, I'm sure you're working incredibly hard. And then you have, when you're in your mid 30s and whatnot, you have young kids. And then, in my case, come to me later, I still have young kids. And they take up a lot of your time, and then work gets interesting, exciting, whatever, that takes up time, so much so that you defocus on your own self as to what's actually happening with you, right? And that was the same case with me. And so the idea here is to focus back on ourselves. I know, as they say in a flight, when there is trouble, you put your mask on before you put the mask on someone else. So the focus is on you and then your loved ones, right? So that's the whole story here. And then we're going to be looking at insights from a few specialist physicians that I would like to walk you through. I'll literally show you their YouTube videos as well. Then we get into the tools like the monitors, and then, the and Microsoft technology, so on and so forth. And then somewhere in between, or finally, we'll actually look at my own diet as to what I eat. I'm a vegetarian, so I'll walk you through what I eat, importantly, when I eat what I eat, and the exercise that I do. And, there are a few surprises over here, right, as I go through this. So kindly hang on. So if I were to minimize this, so basically, from a specialist standpoint, there have been 4 or 5 people, and I've been adding to this literally every now and then, that I follow. The first one is Dr. Robert Lustig. He's basically a retired professor of pediatrics in the endocrinology department, University of Southern California. I got to know of him through Dr. Mark Hyman. I was listening to his podcast. I came across Robert Lustig, listened to him, started adopting his methods, and then I IM'd him on LinkedIn, and he was so gracious to actually accept my invitation and, like, give me further guidance and so on and so forth. So fundamentally, he talks about metabolic health, and that is health from the inside, and interpreting results from what is called as the lipid panel. I'll show you mine shortly, but then essentially it basically talks about your cholesterol, right? I'll walk you through the details there. So that's what he talks about. His key message is sugar in any form, like be it either refined sugar, brown sugar, whatever, or you actually add sugar to your pancakes, whatever, is a killer. And then you really need to watch insulin levels, as it's actually measured by what is called as fasting insulin. Apparently, fasting insulin is something that people don't do, the medical industry doesn't do often for various reasons. They actually do fasting sugar, but he says that fasting insulin is something that gives you pointed information about, like, what is called as insulin resistance, and it's something that you need to monitor. We'll come to that as we go through the metrics and so on and so forth, okay, as to what this fasting insulin is and why we need to actually monitor that. And then his video is over here. This is the video that really opened my eye. It says, Understanding Your Cholesterol Panel and Metabolic Health Test. This is where he talks about the insulin resistance test. And in India, I've gotten it done about 3 times now. My parents are in Bangalore. And the good news about being in India is that you can go to any diagnostic lab. I've got a couple in Bangalore. If folks from Bangalore are joining, you can just go to these people and just ask them for your lipid panel, complete blood count test, and your cholesterol, fasting insulin, and they'll do that. You just need to actually eat at night, maybe around like 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, you have your food. Then you don't eat anything, water maybe until 12 hours. And then the guy comes in, takes your blood, and they do your fasting insulin. And in the same test, you can actually get your blood count and lipid panel, which is cholesterol and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is the gentleman This is literally the video that I listened to give me that information. Okay, so this is Dr. Robert Lustig. Then we have Dr. Mark Hyman. Now he actually has his own institute of functional medicine, and he offers guidance on lifestyle and environment and so on and so forth. And his belief is, young forever, right? And he goes to say that, hey, look, if you take care of yourself properly, you could easily go to 120 and still be kind of sort of okay. At the very least, in your 90s, you should be kind of okay, disease free, and so on and so forth, right? And he's, I think, about 65 or like closing in on 70 or something like that. And it's like he looks incredibly young, And his whole message is, again, sugar is a killer. Anything white, right? Like white flour. I don't actually say rice. Rice has got carbs and so on and so forth. Try to kind of avoid anything white, including sugar, right? And that's his sort of key message. And then the video that I had seen of him is this one. It says 10-day detox, how to heal your body through diet and lifestyle, right? So he has got many videos, but then this one kind of sort of appealed to me as I was going through it. Now, by the time I actually had listened to this video, I'd already adopted my lifestyle. So it was more of a reinforcement of whatever I was actually going through, because I'd already listened to him and Dr. Lustig in an interview before, and that video from Dr. Lustig, right? So I'd already listened to this. So, this was more of a regurgitation of what he talked about, right? Then, if I go next, I go to Dr. Jamna Das. He's an Indian American of South African descent, right? So his ancestors were actually from India, and he basically talks about and he's in Florida. He's a cardiovascular surgeon. And then he basically talks about the link between diet, aging, and disease. Right now, if we exclude disease, because many of you folks are probably in your 30s and 40s, and not necessarily 50 plus or 60 plus or wherever, where you have to start thinking in terms of disease. He basically talks about, again, like Dr. Mark Hyman, de-aging, right? And again, sugar is a killer. He brings up this important thing on fasting as a means to good health. Now, if you folks are Indian, I mean, my grandmother used to actually fast one day, like, on either a Friday, whichever day, I'm not terribly sure which day, Saturday, I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm gone off that religious track a little bit, so my mind's a little bit of a blur on which day. But she used to eat in the morning like a proper breakfast. She used to fast through the day, and at night she would actually have some fruit and nuts, right? I mean, me, I don't do that either. I don't actually have anything at night. I go through one whole, like yesterday morning, I had food, and then I went through the whole day. I fasted, just water, and this morning I had my breakfast. So one day a week I do the total fast. But many Indians actually historically have been doing some kind of like a fast. And he says it is critical for de-aging, right? And when you couple that with actually diet, it really, really takes on a completely different dimension, right? So his video is over here, right? His video is over here. Now, he basically talks about fasting can reverse aging and prevent disease. And he actually does clinics on fasting and so on and so forth. But for us Indians, this is easy. It is not that hard. You have a nice, beautiful breakfast, nutrient rich breakfast, and then you just get involved in your own daily life. You forget about things, and then next thing you know, it's nighttime. The only thing that you need to be careful of is when you come back home and you're with your missus, or you're with your parents, or sitting by yourself, then there is a tendency to, hey, I'm hungry, I want to have something. In my case, I don't have that problem because I have young kids. They keep me busy until I actually go to bed. But that's something you need to watch out for. But otherwise, through the day, very easy to actually go ahead and do the fast. Okay. Then finally, I've got and I'll give you the links to them. Then finally, we've got Dr. David Sinclair. He's not a physician, but he's actually a professor of genetics at Harvard Medical School. And then his story is that he talks about, again, reversing aging. His story is he's from Australia. So about when he was 44 or something like that, apparently, I mean, he was like hardcore beef eater, meat eater, whatever. And then there is a process by which you can actually determine your age, right? Metabolic age. So he did that. And at 44, it told him that he was 58 years old, like inside. From the outside, he was 44, but from the inside, he was 58. That woke him up and then led him to, and then coupled with whatever has happened in his family, it woke him up and it coupled him to actually go look at nutrition and do research on nutrition, so on and so forth. And then he basically is an avid plantarian. He basically shelved his meatarian food and went into the plant diet. And he now says he's in this picture, he's actually 56 years old. I mean, looks like, any one of us in like, our 40s, right? Or early 40s. He's metabolically aged 44 or 38 or something like that right now. And the reason is because he corrected his diet, went into a plant-based diet, and so on and so forth. And his video is also here. I'll give you that link as well. The one video that I listened to where he's talking. I mean, in his case, it's a little bit more technical. All of them are. When you listen to Dr. Lustig, when you listen to Dr. Sinclair, they get into a bit of medical technology. But then if you listen to it a few times, it becomes okay to understand and so on and so forth. And of course, you have our famous Copilot that actually gives you that information as well, right? If you Hyman's a little bit more understandable. Jamnadas a little bit more understandable because they kind of make it easier for normal human beings like us to understand. Okay, so these have kind of sort of been the foundation on which I've built my health. And there are other people I listen to when it comes to things like uric acid, things like the benefits of what is called as walking and visceral fat, and so on and so forth. I'll walk you through this as I go along, right? So, a little bit about me is, I am, I think from here, it's a giveaway. I did my graduate degree in 97, right? In 95. I graduated, it says 97, it's actually 95. I graduated in 97. And so that's a giveaway on my age. I'm 52 years old. I'll be 52 in November. And I used to literally look like this, right? This is a video of YouTube. By the way, I do YouTube videos. If you're interested, kindly do subscribe. And it's primarily based on Power Platforms, some on IoT and things like that. But the point is, I looked a little bit like Humpty Dumpty. This is from August or September of last year. And right now, and here I was roughly about 95 kgs. Okay. So this is the punchline, right? So I was basically 95 kgs. I'm 6'2". And now this was literally 1 year ago. Now at, where are we? We are in like, almost August, about the same time. I'm 75 kgs, so essentially 165 pounds, 75 kgs, and the fat has literally gone away from my face. I got married in 2009 or 2010, I think. I can actually fit into my wedding suit right now. That's how skinny I've actually gotten because of all these things that I've actually done and because of all these physicians. Okay, so let us actually get down to business. Then we'll actually get down to the monitors and metrics and the tools that I actually use. Fundamentally, the whole story got started because in January I was actually visiting my parents in Bangalore, India. My dad had some issue, and then my mom asked me to go get a physician. He happened to be a BP doctor. He checked my BP in January, the systolic and diastolic. Systolic is the highest number, diastolic is the lowest number. That was very high. It was around 90. He asked me to take medication. I got out of there and started monitoring, doing all these things. And so to keep monitoring it, I bought this monitor. I got two of them. So I bought one here in Singapore, the same one I got in Bangalore as well. So if you go to any medical store, if you're in Bangalore, there is something called as Prajwal, and that's where I got this. What this does is if you put your phone here and hold on to these probes here, to these electrodes here, it actually will give you your ECG, right? I literally will show you that in a second, but then it gives you your ECG. And then if you strap on this, how do you say, cuff, it will give you your blood pressure as well. And so I literally actually monitor this every day, like without fail in the morning, maybe about 15 to half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour after I get up is when I actually monitor this, right? And then it's got an app, a built-in, and this is from Omron, right? So this is kosher. This is not, this is FDA approved. It connects to your mobile app, their own mobile app, Omron app using Bluetooth. And then you can actually get the readings both as like a on the app and as a PDF. And then, what I do is, as of now, I just mail it. I'll literally show you this. I literally mail it to myself and then I upload it. But then you could easily add a flow that would automatically upload that to SharePoint, right? And absolutely simple. And the readings, you can actually automate it, is basically what I'm referring to, right? So if I were to literally bring up my, let me do this. Let me actually do a couple things and I'll get back to this monitor, okay? So I'll actually show you the app itself. And if I go over to my app right now, where is my app? This is the one. I didn't mean to actually go there first. So let me go here. So this is actually the app, and I've conveniently borrowed from Dr. Hyman to say young forever. And then I can actually basically enter information, right? So this is a bare bones, very simple Power App. It's got like, your data table here, and there is a form, and the form is actually linked to the table, so I can edit whatever values. So if I took a reading this morning, so basically if I say new, I'm going to basically go ahead and enter my name over here. Today is the 20th, and then the time in the morning, and the systolic and diastolic. Well, I think I do need to actually go to my phone now, so might as well show you this. So I'm going to go over to my, let me see here, right? So everybody can see my phone. I can make this a little bigger. Can I make it a little bigger? Like so, right? So if I go to Omron Connect over here, it actually shows you my blood pressure here and the ECG. Kindly confirm, one of you kindly confirm that you're able to see this, folks.
Yes, yes, we can.
Right? So basically what I literally do is I go over and then say 114 by 75 is what I took in, with which is, I'm so thrilled about it that it's not 90. It is fantastic. And my heart rate is 65. The weight is 163.5. That is primarily because of fasting. Now, I also take two readings on my waist as well as the belly, like literally use a tape and measure the readings on waist and belly. The reason why I do that is, again, Dr. Hyman basically had said that if you do those measurements, and if there is, and I think it was Dr. Lustig, if the ratio between that is between your belly and your waist is greater than 1.1 or something like that, it indicates that there may be fat in your liver, which is very, very dangerous. But it could also mean that there is actually fat in your viscera, which means in your gut, in the front, and in between your organs, there could be fat, which can ultimately lead to disastrous consequences, right? So I monitor this. So I think my waist diameter was something around 36, and this was as well some 36.1, if I remember right. And then for my dad, I actually monitor the temperature as well. And here, this is very important. I mark out the comments saying, took this reading half hour post waking up. And then I mark out that no bowel movements, because when you actually go to the bathroom, your BP can actually be high, right? For obvious reasons. So, I mark this down so that when I actually go show my cardiologist, I can actually walk them through exactly what happened if the reading had been higher. Okay. Then this one, the ECG over here, if I click this, it basically shows me all my readings. And then there were a couple here that were unclassified. This one where it says AFib is actually scary. But then I had just done something crazy and I took the reading. My palms were like, my fingers were sweaty. So this reading doesn't truly actually count. But if I were to then say, hey, look, send this over email, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to say next here, agree, skip the password. And then it brings it over to my email. and there's my email. I just send this email now, right? I send this email, so the emails actually come through. So that's it about the app. Now, what I could do is once the email actually comes into my inbox, I could use a flow to just pick up this attachment and actually save it to my SharePoint, right? I mean, that part you guys know, right? So I'm going to say save as, and here in this case, I'm just going to say download it as a PDF, right? And like so. And then I'm going to go over here and then I'm going to attach this downloads, and there's my PDF. I'm going to attach this guy. And once the attachment is here, just to verify, and I'm going to make this bigger now. If I click this guy, it goes away and actually shows me my ECG, right? My cousin actually works at the National Institute of Health in Virginia, and he was visiting us literally about a month and a half ago to see his mom. And I walked him through this, and I was like, hey, look, and then he was like, wow, I didn't know that you can actually get an ECG just like this on your app. And then, you have, and it's like, and he got into it, hey, did you build this, blah, blah, blah. Because his whole story was, you ask any of these techie guys, and the next thing you know, they start plotting trends and whatnot. And he was laughing. But then when he saw that, he was like, interesting that you can actually get your ECG readings over here, which will be very useful for me. The reason is when you go in front of your specialist, usually they try to dig up the data from their EMR, right? They keep like, punching away, try to dig up the data. Here, what I do is I send all of this information a priori to my dad's hematologist, because I actually monitor both mine, my dad's as well. So when he has to go into the hematologist, I actually send everything to them so that when he goes there, and I would have sent them 5 minutes before. So when he's sitting in front of the doctor has all the information and he can talk to my father as opposed to digging up the information, right? And all of this is actually literally there for them to go over and see. Now, if I were to here, now I have like my BP readings, just the BP itself, if I were to refresh the Power BI, and you guys know this, I'm sure out cold, is this will run a flow and launch the Power BI, and then you can literally showcase the trends in Power BI over a period of time, right? This is Fabric, and there's basically my trend. And then as you can see, my interest is primarily this, so in January of last year, it was around 90, 94, the lower number. And right now you can see that it's between 80 and 70. So the average is like, as you saw this morning, hovers around somewhere around 75 to 78. It just depends if I get up in the morning, if my kid kind of drives me crazy. By the way, I've got two kids. One is 11 and one is 3. And Sanjeev is 52. So no retirement for me. But if he kind of sort of like, comes in crying, blah, 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 then obviously you're a little stressed. So your BP can be higher. But on the average, it's around 70 to 80, which is the, net result of the story, right? So this is what I actually track here. Now, over and beyond this, in my father's case, I actually track blood reports, and I've started doing it for myself as well, right? So I go through hemoglobin, RBC. These two basically indicate the energy levels, obviously, in the body. Then you have platelets, which are very important, because if these numbers actually go below, as you can see, it is hovering around like 0 0.6, 0 0.7, 0 0.8 right now. I haven't added the latest one, so around 0.8. But then there was a time when it was actually as low as 0.45. If it goes below like, 0.2, then you can actually bleed from everywhere. It's a very dangerous scenario, right? So I monitor this for my dad, but in the process, I started actually monitoring my own as well, right? So then the neutrophils basically indicate your resistance to viruses, the resistance to bacteria. This is a very important one. In this case, my dad's unfortunately right now is around 0.5. If it goes below anything like 0.2, then you will be susceptible to any infection. If your neighbor or if your missus actually sneezes, then you can actually get the infection as well. So you got to be super careful, especially in older people, right? So I monitor these things. In addition to this, there are certain things that I actually monitor. And let me maybe show you this because it's super important. And by the way, I also have inside my app, if I were to go over to, if I go back here, I also have this report scanner, and this is basically in your AI builder, which many of you know. So I scan my report from one lab that I keep getting results from. So that gives me my hemoglobin, RBC, platelets, so on and so forth, and I just save it over here, right? So if I were to literally go to that report right now and then go to, and this is where I'm literally showing you my own results. Um, Let me see if yeah, this one, right? So this is a result that I got on the 3/7, so literally the 3rd of this month. And then, I'm not too fussed about the blood report because I'm fairly young. The blood report will be absolutely fine. But these are things that I'm super, super interested about, right? So the total cholesterol is meaningless. I'm literally showing you mine. My brotherly guidance to you is, if you can get this report, and it's so easy to get from any of the diagnostic centers in India, kindly do so, right? Especially if you're in your 40s, my brotherly guidance is please do actually get this report. So what this actually gives you is what is called as lipid profile, in which the most important or the two important numbers are triglycerides. This needs to be below 100. And then what is called as HDL, this needs to be as high as possible, right? So basically the triglycerides are what they are, frankly, deadly, right? So these are really dense molecules in your body, and then they manifest themselves as what is called as VDL or LDL. Okay, these triglycerides become these LDL, and LDL is the one over a period of time that starts getting deposited in your arteries, right? So what they cause is the firming up, like your arteries are essentially elastic. So they cause the thickening or the firming up of the arteries, and they start getting deposited inside the arteries as calcium over a period of time. And LDL comes from triglycerides. So the higher this number, the more dangerous it is. And then over a period of time, because of unhealthy habits, this will slowly start creeping up. You won't even notice it. Like, yeah, like last year, I showed you my Humpty Dumpty, right? When I was like, 95 kgs. I mean, I'm 6'2". It is very hard to notice, yeah, you have a little bit of a gut. I mean, you don't really actually feel it that much. I was feeling it a little bit, like, if I climb stairs, I would be out of breath and so on and so forth. But then I didn't know. But I had to go to the US on my way. I stopped by in at my parents' place. My parents just said, "Hey, just go get a test done. You're after all like 50, just get a test done." When I got it done, the triglyceride number was 363. That really, I mean, at that point, I didn't know. I was like, okay, 363, 500, who cares? I don't know what it is, right? My parents also, didn't say much. And then I went my merry way, right? But when I listened to Dr. Lustig, it really became clear as to how dangerous the situation could have been if I had continued the same way for the next 5 years. By 60, I'm about 99% sure I would have ended up as like some kind of a diabetic or something. Like up until now, I've had no issues, like literally no issues other than aging, right? But if I had continued with the same pattern of rubbish eating, by around 60, I would have had some kind of diabetes. And then probably by around 70, God forbid, I would have ended up with some heart issue, right? It woke me up, and then I did things to bring it down to 78. I'm working on this one to actually get it up to 100, and this is where you have like good protein, be it either in the nuts, be in, your fruit, and so on and so forth. The latest number I have is around 63. So if you divide this 78 by your 63, the ratio, which is around 1.2 or 1.3, should be less than 1.5. For healthy liver and a healthy young human being, this ratio between triglycerides and HDL should be below 1.5, right? So when you do your blood report, kindly ask your technician when they come home to say, hey, give me a lipid profile, but in the lipid profile, give me triglycerides and give me HDL, and they'll actually do this for you. So you have your BP, you have your lipid panel. The third one to monitor is this one. If I actually go back up here, where is this? This maybe is on the last page, I think. Is this thing called fasting insulin? This is very, very important. So I never knew this, and I got to know of this through Dr. Robert Lustig. So the first time I measured it, I had already started on the journey of healthy eating, right? I had already started that journey. I hadn't made small little course corrections but for the major part, I had done the right thing, and I was, exercising more, whatever. So the number about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, was actually 12.9, and I was so thrilled to know that 12.9 until I saw that video from Dr. Lustig, and he said anything lesser than actually 10 is a great place to be for great liver health. That means to say that there is literally no fat in the liver, and there is very little visceral fat, if any. So that will, lead you to be younger. So lo and behold, it was 8. And as I was leaving Bangalore just about 10 days ago, I took another reading, and that was actually came to be around 5.9 or something. So I'm super thrilled that this number is good. And in order for you to get this reading, you need to do a night of fast. So you have your dinner, maybe around 8 o'clock or something. Just one day you have a later dinner, not at 6 o'clock. But then let us say you have 8 or 9 o'clock at dinner, then you fast for 12 hours. The technician comes in the following morning around 8 or 9 o'clock and takes the blood, and then you get your fasting insulin. It takes about like 6 hours or 5 hours to actually get this reading, right? Then the other thing you actually take is this thing called aspirate aminotransferase, AAT, right? Sorry, alanine aminotransferase. This one basically is directly on the liver itself. It actually shows you how much your liver function and how good your liver is, right? This is the one that shows you this number should be, they say 0 to 41. 41 is something that the American whatever association, I think Diabetes Association, whatever, has actually changed this to 41. Dr. Lustig says that it should actually be below 25, right? And he says that we should go back to below 25. And especially for us who are non-white people, it really needs to be below 25, right? So for me, the latest number is actually 20, right? So I'm super thrilled that this number and the fasting insulin is exactly where they need to be. So from now on, it is merely a question of maintaining what I'm actually doing on a daily basis, right? So these are the metrics that I actually track. And it's a combination of using my monitor. It's a combination of actually using the blood reports from wherever. So because my dad, he's 91, I want to monitor. I keep going down to Bangalore every 2-3 months. So whenever I go now, I actually get this blood report done. And, for us, it's good enough. Every quarter, if you take one reading, that is good enough. So long as you're keeping up good habits, I don't think you need to actually take it, how do you say, every single day, right? I mean, or every week or something. You just take it once in a quarter, you're good to go. I just do it every 2-3 months because I'm simply there, right? And then, so once you do this, you literally go over to your app, and then you can actually do this analyze. And then you guys know the ZI builder. I'll quickly walk you through for those who don't. But you can actually train this model to actually pick up those numbers. And so, you would have got between your dad's report and your report, you would have had like some 15, 20 reports already. In my case, I do. So I just use this report to train the model. So I just upload it and it actually pulls it up. It just so happened that literally yesterday I ran out of my AI Builder credits. So before we spoke, I literally did a one on Azure. So I went in on Azure, and then I did a document scanner, right? So over here, I have this blood report scanner here. It does exactly the same thing. And if I go up here, and then see, I've actually trained this. And if I go to test and then browse for a file, and I'm going to go over to my dad's records, maybe blood reports, pick one over here, right? And if I say run analysis, this goes away, and then it is scanning my dad's numbers, and there you go. See, it's giving me hemoglobin, RBC, neutrophil, platelet, and total count. Likewise, from mine, in my AI builder, I've actually got the fasting insulin, the AAT as well, and the other metrics that are here. So then you can just get this and you can dump it into like a SharePoint site or Dataverse or SQL or whatever. Fairly straightforward to do. This didn't take any amount of time. Literally, it said label data. I just uploaded 5 files. Then I basically said add field. I added the field and I just ran it here. And then I went through each one. It identified the right ones that had already pre-tagged it. So the Great news about doing this in Azure versus actually doing this in AI Builder is that when you do this in AI Builder, you literally have to manually tag it. Whereas when you do it here in AI Builder, it auto tags it, and for the most part does a phenomenal job of tagging it, because I just said hemoglobin, it identified hemoglobin and brought the right value, you see. So this was super cool. And if you have, like, about 20, 25 documents, I'm sure over a period of time you would have collected this, and then you can build your own model, right? And once you build your model, you just, like, analyze this, it spits it out here, save this, it goes and saves this, and then from here you have your report, and then in Power BI you just link it to SharePoint and you build your report out, right? So I'm so thankful to Microsoft for this, because I don't have to do too many things like leave data here, there, whatever. So everything is self-contained, everything is in one place, and it is so much easier. Now, I also have my Azure Data Lake subscription, right? So, for images and so on and so forth, I just could go there and save it on my data lake, okay? So this is in terms of who the physicians are, what the metrics are, and how this has impacted me in, actually growing younger. So like I told you, the end result of doing all of this, by my insulin being low and then my whatever, like the AAT being low, is that I've literally actually grown younger, right? I told you, was able to fit into my wedding pant. I can literally drop down and do 20 push-ups right now. Like, yeah, without any prep, like drop down, do 20 push-ups. I can do probably about like 7 or 8 like pull-ups, whatever, right? And I can do sets of these things, right? So this goes back to when I was actually in my 17 or 18 or like that. That's when I was able to do like 20, 25 push-ups. And now I can do the same, right? And absolutely filled and brimming with energy, and I can keep up with my kids by doing this, right? So it's a process, if you will, of de-aging. So from here, where do we go? Well, how? Okay, fine. You've got your physicians, you've got your monitors, you've got your Microsoft technology, but how do you actually do this, right? So if I were to get back here, and then I'm going to go back to this one, this gets to diet. One is diet. The other is the frequency of the diet, which is equally important. The third one is exercise, right? So what I do, and I don't have to use any other terminology, you guys are my brothers and sisters, so I can dive into Indian food. So I literally have dal. I mean, you will laugh at me, right? At 7 o'clock in the morning, I have dal and upma, right? So every single day, I don't get bored. So what is in my dal? Other than actually, like, dal, what's in my dal? I tur dal, basically. So I have beetroot, which makes it blood red. But beetroot has got nitrates. And the reason why nitrates are important is that it converts the nitrates to nitrous oxide in the body, which helps in dilating your blood vessels. The more relaxed your blood vessels are, you guys are engineers. The blood flow in your stream becomes easier if the pipe is flexible, isn't it? So the pipe becomes flexible, it does not harden, and anywhere in the body, be it either in your legs or your, like, around your gut or your heart region, or more importantly in your brains, it vasodilates is the technical term. So it relaxes. So the blood flows very easily. And that's because of your nitrates in beetroot. So I have, like, beetroots in my dal. The second one is carrots. Carrots, I don't have to tell you. You guys know this. Great for your eyes. Great for, like, different vitamin K1. That actually helps in your blood clot and bone health. Very important. Vitamin A, which is vision and so on and so forth. Super, right? So have carrots. Have radish, which is good in vitamin C, have broccoli, which is in vitamin C. Now, by the time I come here, you guys may be, Sanjeev, you're killing me. Are you serious that in your dal you put broccoli, beetroot, and carrot? Yes. And does it taste like horrible? No, it actually tastes like dal, right? It tastes okay, no problem, right? Or maybe I've got used to it. Either way, it is fantastic, and I have it every single morning, right? And the side dish is basically my upma. Now, being a Kannadiga, I'm from Bangalore. I could actually have dosa, I don't have idli because it's got too many carbs. I don't have dokla. That's the other thing that I like because it's got, somewhere a mixture of carbs and so on and so forth. But I actually have I could have my dosa, frankly, I could. But then I actually have upma because it's cream of wheat. It's got a little bit more carbs than your dosa, right? That's the reason why, because I want some energy through the day and so on and so forth, right? So I have a little bit, upma. But in the upma, again, I'll have grated carrots and I'll actually have some green peas, right? And green peas gives you protein, tur dal gives you protein, and then you have a bunch of other things that actually give you protein. Now, the meat eaters basically say, hey, look, vegetarians, you don't get any protein. Well, sorry, that's wrong. You actually do get protein if you eat the right stuff and in the right quantity, right? So you do get it. So then I have cauliflower, which is basically vitamin K for blood clotting and bone health, just the same way there is vitamin K in carrots, right? So these are all the things I literally have. There is another thing called coyote. So that is like a gourd, basically. I have that as well. I haven't recorded it here. So I chop that up as well, and then I put it in the dal, and I have it. Okay, so this is literally what I have anywhere between 7 and 7:30 in the morning, right? Then at around 2 o'clock, I basically have my nuts. So I basically have almonds, which is vitamin E, Brazil nuts, which is very important. It has something called selenium. And then it is like essential for immune health and cell growth, right? Is selenium. So I have one nut per day, Brazil nut. Cashews for protein, pecans basically, it helps you with manganese. Your minerals are super important. Pistachios again for proteins. Walnuts, maybe omega-3 fatty acids, which are actually good. And then basically raisins for antioxidants. And I have, depending on what's available here in Singapore, I have a couple of varieties of raisins. So this is what I have around, let us say, 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then I have a lot of fruit, right? When I say a lot of variety of fruit. So I have banana, I have oranges, I have pear, I have apple, I have grapes. The recent addition when I was in Bangalore was jamun. I didn't even know that it existed, but it's actually apparently good. It tastes a little interesting, not exactly sweet. So I used to have a whole bunch of them, but not with the nuts. I would have my nuts separately, finish that, and then I would have my what do you call fruit, right? I'll have my fruit. So that's anywhere between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, 2:30 around there, right? The point here is I would have given a big gap between my 7 o'clock, like my whatever that I have for my breakfast, and what is called as lunch. So I don't actually have it at 12 o'clock or 12:30. I give it about like 5 hours before I eat, right? The next meal is again around 6:30. And there I have the exact same thing I have in the morning. I do not get bored. Why don't I get bored? Because at work, I'm super excited about all these power plant, this, that, and the other, some consulting, some finance nonsense, drones and this and that. So I'm occupied there. So my mind doesn't go towards, hey, I need that, what do you call, what's a, I need that jamun, the other jamun. Oh, I need my fried stuff. My mind doesn't go there, right? And then I have seen my improvement literally physically. So my mind is completely absorbed in whatever I do. And then just a gentle reminder to actually have these nuts and like fruit at around 2 o'clock. And then the next thing, 6:30, right? Post 6:30, once I actually have this, I actually don't eat anything. Right after 6:30, after I have that, the whole dal thing with the upma or let's say a dosa, or let's say dokla, I don't have anything else. Right? I know nothing except water. Occasionally, maybe if I'm doing some little bit of like push-ups or whatever or a pull-up, I'll have like a walnut or a cashew or something like that just to bide me by during that time. Right? So from 6:30 essentially to the next day, 7 o'clock, I would have only had water or a couple nuts. That's about it, right? And this has been the reason why my fasting insulin, my AAT, and my triglycerides are all in great shape, right? This is essentially the diet that I've actually been having. Now, you guys, in your vegetarian diets, I'm sure in India, as I, went across, Bangalore, you've got so many things that you can actually eat, right? So I researched, what's a good substitute, if you will, for upma. So it was like, in my case, because I'm, a Bangalorean, like a dosa was good. I said, I don't want any idlis. I mean, that's like too starchy for me. So I just avoided that. Then you can like dokla is something, a food that I like looked into. I'm sure you've got like hundreds of different things that you can actually go through. Even within dal, tur dal is the best for protein, but then you can actually mix up dal and have it. If you're going to have like a dosa, you can mix up dals inside your dosa and actually have it. That'll give you enough protein, right? Finally, in all this analysis, when I make the dal, when I make the dosa, whatever, the most important thing that I actually have is ghee, right? So in India, as you know, over the past 20 years or so, there's been an explosion of this whole Americanism with like, hey, this heart oil, what is that? Vegetable oil, like, good for your heart, blah, blah, blah. Baloney, right? Avoid oils like a plague, right? Just don't get any of those oils. They have polyunsaturated fat, which creates your visceral fat, and then that fat around the liver that will drive up your triglycerides, right? So avoid oil. Use good old ghee. We've been using ghee for donkey's years. Now, all of a sudden, in the last 20 years, like, there has been Pax Americana, and then we've got all these oils. Please avoid it. If you have to have oil, use coconut oil, is what they say. But for me, it has been ghee, right? When I was in my teens in India, I used to actually drink ghee, right? I mean, you warm up ghee and you drink ghee. So that used to be like, I think some of you Punjabi guys actually drink ghee as well, right? My in-laws are actually Punjabi, so they were telling me that they drink ghee, their father-in-law. So, I used to do that. We go back to our roots, right? We go back to our roots and cook things in ghee and have it, right? Which brings me to my, let us say, the final point is spend time making your food, right? Because it takes a little bit of time. We are all working, so maybe if you have people at home who can actually cook for you, that is absolutely brilliant. Or like if your parents are making it, some of you are in your 20s, maybe it's great for them to help you out, or you make it yourself. I mean, the best way is self-help, right? You get up there, make your own, and then you can control the ingredients as well. And then you go about your merry way, right? I hope this actually gives you an idea of where I've ended up, right? Where I was, where I've actually ended up, and the reasons for it. The physicians that I actually listen to, the metrics that I monitor, the monitors that I actually use, the Microsoft technology that I've used to actually build all this, and finally the diet. Oh, the one final thing before I hand back. One of the things that I listened to and I've actually done over a period of time, and in fact, I started this on my own. My natural inclination would have actually been to go jog, right? Jogging, right? So in January, when I started, my brain went, hey, why don't I go down to the treadmill and start running? Something told me that, hey, look, I'm after all 51. I'll be 52 in November. Why don't I just walk? And that way I can just walk all over the place. I can listen. I can call my parents. I can talk to them, call my in-laws, maybe talk to them, maybe listen to a podcast or two. So why don't I walk, right? I started walking. Then I actually listened to this gentleman. For the life of me, his name's not coming to me. He's a physician. He says walking is the best exercise. Do not jog. If you want to run, sprint, right? They say that sprinting is fantastic for your visceral health. What is visceral health? It is basically the fat between your organs, and it's the fat surrounding your gut. Like, they call it love handles. So the fat around your love handles, the fat in the front, and the fat between your organs that you cannot see is visceral fat. And surprisingly, apparently, long distance runners, the ones who run long distance and one who run slow, people like us, okay, I'm not talking about the African runners. The African marathon runners are actually sprinting to me. I can never keep up with them, even if I sprint, right? They're in a different planet altogether. I'm talking about normal human beings who try to jog. There, apparently, it can actually lead to visceral fat. It can actually increase visceral fat, is what I heard, which was really puzzling as to why that happens. I haven't gotten into why it happens, but mercifully, I don't do jogging. I actually do walking. And how do I walk? When my 3-year-old goes to bed, let us say around 8:30, 9 o'clock, I literally walk up and down inside the house in case he actually like wakes up. So I talk to my parents a little bit. Then I listen to, talks on, let us say, physics, or talks on like, nutrition, talks on finance, talks on this, talks on Trump, whatever. So I listen to all of this. It's, great. You're doing two things in one go. You're like, exercising at the same time. So I walk about 10,000 steps. So I would have walked about like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 steps or whatever during the day. And then or maybe around 3,000 or 4,000 if I'm actually walking, to the train and so on and so forth. So the remaining like 7, 8,000, I actually walk at home for about like hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. And then maybe do a couple pull-ups if I'm like interested, if my mind's at it, and then I call it. But through the day, I would have actually done like my 3 rounds of like 20 push-ups each or 25 push-ups each or something like that, right? So that's the exercise component of it. And given where I am right now, my goal is to actually maintain this forever, right? Literally as much as I can, just keep maintaining this. If I find something more interesting, like this jamun thing, or like plums or cherries or whatever, I'll investigate that with my app. That's the one that I didn't show you, right? That component of it. That's one. That's the one I wanted to show you. Kindly give me a second. I'm gonna go over and literally showcase that. Oh, good. The app is still pointing to it. Unfortunately, I don't actually have. I don't actually have. I don't actually have a beetroot in front of me, and I looked in the fridge. We have run out of beetroot. But what I'm going to do is, okay, so I'm going to do something like that. I'll show you my phone. So this is literally my phone here. And then I'm going to go over to this beetroot here, right? Hopefully it can scan it properly. It's too small, huh? It's too small. I don't know. Let us see if we get lucky, right? Um, okay, so I don't know, huh? This time I'm not exactly very sure what it's gonna do. I'm gonna go up here. I could talk to it, but since my mic is, I'm just gonna say, what vegetable is this? And does it give us the nitrous oxide, right? Let me see if it does that. I don't know, the image is not very clear, here. So this is on my phone. I'm literally searching this on my phone. Oh, truffle, you know. So unfortunate, right? Because it's not very clear, but it basically says it's a truffle type of edible fungus and not a vegetable. Truffle's unique flavor, making them prized in gourmet cooking. Do not give. So you see that it actually like, goes away and literally researches. Is if I had a good image of this, it would have actually said like, and you can see this in this LinkedIn post. If I go up here and then play this, and here I'm literally talking, right? What vegetable is this? I'm using my, and then production of nitric oxide. See, it said it's beetroot, right? So when I go to the Indian market here in Singapore, right? When I go to the Indian market, or when I actually go to India itself, when I go to the vegetable market, I literally point my phone and then say, what is this? That's how I discovered the jamun. I didn't know what it was. The shopkeeper wasn't around. He was somewhere inside here in Little India. But I could see it in a carton. I just opened the box, I took a picture of it, and it said it's jamun. It's actually good for reducing blood sugar. Jamun is good for reducing blood sugar, not the jamun that you eat as a sweet, the vegetable, right? So I suppose I'll keep adding some of these things as I go along. To me, if you folks are how do you say, if you folks have ideas, kindly do pass this over. The one request, I trust you actually, had a good idea of all this. And if you have liked this, my request is kindly spread the word. I am very happy. I would be thrilled to go to each place in India. One in Pune. I know that friends there actually run a workshop there in Mumbai. Bangalore, obviously, unfortunately, I don't know anybody in Bangalore who actually does this. Talk about fun, right? I go there directly to my hospital and to my parents. That's the only thing that I know. But if you have people in Bangalore, in Chennai, Odisha, I think I know somebody, so we'll actually do a thing. Please spread the word. It is super important. It is a contribution that we can actually make towards the society. Okay, instead of actually having diabetes and things like that, eating all kinds of like junk, and especially American junk, we can eat our own great food that our ancestors have given us, and then grow younger, right? I kid you not, my dad is actually 90 years old. I'll stop sharing. Bring back the camera, perhaps. My father is actually 90 years old. Unfortunately, over the past 20 years, the food that he's been eating is corrupted, right, because of all this pesticides, this, that, and the other. But when he was younger, he could afford to eat all this and be as old as he is, for the simple reason, ghee and things like that. So I suppose it's a question of us getting back to where we were and ditching some of these, the food that we have in the past 20 years. Okay. With this, I stop. I hand it back to Zruven. Thank you so very much, folk.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful insight, and I think audience really enjoyed that as well. And more than 50 plus people joined us from the live, and
Wow.
they learned from there. And obviously, it will be forever on my YouTube as well. So anyone has any question, feel free to connect. Sanjeev sir, I
Thank you.
pasted his LinkedIn profile as well in YouTube live, you can always, as he said, like throw your idea as well. If you have something more, definitely we are all here to help you with, and obviously spread this thing with the different part of
Please,
the
please,
community.
please do, folk. Look, no fat, no fat.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
Huh?
I'm telling. I mean, you have become very slim down, sir. I mean, really appreciate that. Like, you're taking too much effort, and I would say effort, but it's spreading this news about the health thing, and it's really amazing. I just want to have 3 points which I want to share with you. I mean, not share, I mean, for the community, is that one thing which I always do, I want to share with everyone, Ruben, and all the people who are the organizers there, right, and the people who are online as well, is that always do health checkup. I mean, I have not seen anyone that like I mean, I've seen many people actually who don't go for health checkup, but you get lot of inputs. Don't be scared because health checkup is important. But I think like, oh, I will be flat, I don't have not reduced my weight and all, that is okay. Health checkup is so important. Specifically after 40, I'm mostly more than 40. And Sir Sanjeev sir is again, I'm getting inspiration from everything, just not technology, but also from all other ways which I have. I'm in touch with Sanjeev sir from many years. So that's one thing I will always ask everyone to do health checkup. 30 says okay, but 40 is absolutely required to do health checkup, right? You get all your things. Second thing which I always say, that your health is the key, right? You work on AI, you work on the Power Platform, but you are can't take care of your own health. You have family or not family, but at least you think about your parents, right? If you are in hospital, think about in hospital, what AI and what Power Platform you can do, right? Only the parents and your loved one within. I've been in, I will tell you because I am in that condition, right? So hospitals and ICUs are not good places. I've seen, so I just want to tell you. The third thing, right, which is Sanjay sir, right, is about your gut, right? And this is very common even in Gita and also other places. Your gut is your second brain. Again, I repeat, your gut is your second brain. So what you eat will actually tell you what you're doing, right? So I want to share with you that if you avoid junk food for a couple of weeks or months, you see the results, right? So I'm not taking any sugar in couple of, I mean, almost 1 month. I'm sorry, 1 year. I've seen the results, right? It's just one thing which you have to undertake. So again, always do health checkups. Always health should be key for them. And third is gut is your second brain. And I can't in fact because even I was in that condition that my lipid profiles was so bad, and then with the some help doctors and all able to reduce it very thing, just like I get inspired by Sanjeev sir on that context. So I mean, it's not a repetition but something which is very important, that these three things which I shared is so important for your own health, and second for your family as well, right? So your family, when you go for gymming or go for rocking, your family will get inspired that we should also do. So yeah, so thank you, Sanjeev sir. I always get inspired. This I took a screenshot of your diet, nutrition, and value. I will follow as well, right? So yeah,
That's, thanks a lot, Bhai. I mean, Aro, so nice seeing you first off, and very kind of you to call it out. Absolutely, absolutely. It works miracles. And the amazing thing is, it is so within our reach as Indians. We don't have to do something extraordinary. I mean, all these Americans talk about this, that, and we don't have to do any of that because it's everyday food for us.
yeah,
And that's the beauty of it.
yeah,
Please spread the word. Please,
sure,
I know
sure,
you
sir.
guys have, so we can go
Yep,
literally,
absolutely.
city by city and like do a, an outreach, earn
Sure,
some
sir.
good karma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Absolutely,
so much, sir.
absolutely. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for the
Yeah.
valuable time and
Thanks for
showing
your
all
time.
these
Yeah, time.
insights.
Most
Yeah.
sincere pleasure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. So now we have our next session, and Aro is already here. So he's going to talk about some security thing with AI application. So I would like to hand over the stage to Aro. So Aro, go ahead
Okay.
and
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I mean, I get when Sanjeev sir come in the any session, right? I get so inspired. So I mostly share what I have been through in my life. So it's good because we have been to that place, right, where we had the bad conditions, and how we actually able to recalibrate ourselves by health, right? So it's important, I think, to hear. So guys, I mean, thanks. We doing for some session now. This is it's not a technical session. I mean, this is technical, but something which is I think that is important, which is released and shown in build this year, and I'm pretty focused on AI. In my job as well, but in communities, because I've thought that this lot of new things happening, and if I can share this thing with the communities, will be very good and beneficial, right? So again, I don't have demos. I mean, because the lot of things are not ready yet, but I'm going to use something which is important for you to get started at least. And when the things are ready, I mean, when they make it as a preview or into GA, obviously we have a complete session, right? So I'm going to put my timer on so that I don't overshoot. And this is my slide deck, which I got from Build, and I just make some changes so that is make more relevant for us. Okay, I know that everyone can see, but again, Dhruven, you can see my screen, right?
yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So guys, it's nothing, no rocket science. Just I make some changes on this thing, and it's a slide deck coming from the Microsoft side. I just want to make changes so that at least it's more relevant for this session, right? So again, what I want to share is here is that there are so many applications, ChatGPT, Copilot, and even open source are came to picture, and how we can use Microsoft Tag to make it safe and secure, right? I have done a couple of sessions previously in definitely community in India and as well in other countries, and I found that this is important for you to get at least get started with security in terms of AI applications, right? Now, one thing I want to share, this is something which is from KPMG, is we have to understand these particular stats, right? These stats are important. Why they're important? Because it's if you see the numbers, right, 85, 73, and 48, this is gives some numbers too, and this is coming from not from Microsoft, but again from these particular resources, KPMG and the security teams, right? So 85% of the organizations they think that Microsoft, I mean, in any AI feature, I mean, not Microsoft, any other AI thing will be actually beneficial for their own organization, for their productivity, and also for your for innovation, right? These part. So these are the things which all the organizations now think in last 1 or 2 years, lot of organizations have embraced some kind of AI, right? Not all, but at least you see number is pretty big, right? And the this is something that is a worry part, right? Which I always think that like we have to work very hard on that. So many organizations that there is a lot of potential risks on the AI in terms of the cybersecurity and harmful things. And I'm not talking about Microsoft Tech, but it's actually across the board. These figures are coming from there. And I tell you this figure, what is 48%? Many organizations have banned AI. Now you think that okay, it's small companies? No, very big companies. I give you the name, you will get surprised. The company which have banned AI are Apple, right? Samsung, okay, Verizon, you think about these names. These are very big players. And the main reason, and this I understand, right? Why they're banning? Because our AI, it is not too mature, and we have security concerns, right? So why Apple and Samsung and Verizon are banning is because they feel that we are not that level that security can be controlled by the organization. So 48% is a big number. I give three names; they are very big names as well. I give you this why the security is so key for the AI. Okay, now I'm just giving very big things numbers there, right? You see 80% now. 80% of the leaders, they think that the data leakage and the data, I mean, the sensitive information is the main concern. And this is quite common. Whether we're using SharePoint, Teams, Azure, Power Platform, is very important. Now, we have full control on those things. We have policies we can do, right? But AI is a different ball game, right? So that was the concern from the leaders. I mean, the C-level people and the managing directors, right? The other things which people think is about the security part, which they're 77%, right? Many organizations think that this is a very big impact, right? 77% is a pretty big number. And the main issue is that the very big enterprises, they used what? Not OpenAI and ChatGPT. They use open source, right? There's many things are there which is open source. They use the ChatGPT kind of things, but in the open source. So they have security concerns on that, right? So these are the key things which I mentioned about many issues and the challenges which Microsoft addressing in this build, right? Again, not all things are baked and fully ready, but at least you get the insights that how it works. Okay. Okay. Now, there are many ways we can interact with the AI, right? And we have seen many ways previously in demos and other things and YouTube and Udemy and a lot of things, right? So we have something called as pre-built, right? We are pre-built. Now, what is pre-built? Example could be a ChatGPT, right? It's a one window you can just interact. Think about Bing Copilot. Very easy. We can interact with no rocket science. Any person, even the 5 years kid, can also interact with that. And then we have a M65 Copilot. These are the built-in apps which can be used. Okay. However, the most interesting thing we are focused is about the low code, no code things, right? When you build on the Microsoft technologies, we have to think those things. It could be low code. Think about AI Builder, the pre-built models. Think about low code, the Power Apps, and the other fields which we can develop with the Power Platform and Azure. And the Pro Code, right? We can use Azure functions. We can do a lot of other things, right? So what this particular session I'm talking about is how we can secure the built-in application, not pre-built, because pre-built it's already ready-made. You can't do much there. But what we can customize in our forte, what we can do, develop the applications. So we will focus on that particular part, and we can see what these names are. There, you get the. I will throw some new names, and I explain to you what these new names are. Right, in the mostly in the AI specifically. Right now, what's happening right now, because there's so many people are going to Gen AI application. um, it's a uncontrollable, right? So we have some prompt and responses. Now there's a normal users, right? Then we work on the AI app, which is called be a ChatGPT, Copilot, Microsoft 365, and then we work on the infrastructure, right? The orchestration, which works on that. And on the back end, again, on the back end, you have something called your infra, your something called as RAG, which is called as a retrieve or augmented generation and your web data. So they have a lot of things inside, right? So Gen AI, again, I want to repeat, Gen AI application is a very different, again, very different from your traditional applications, right? Just like not a Power Apps, not AI build, not AI Builder or other types. They have need some more control, right? That is something on that. Now, you see that they're also connected to a lot of data, right? We can have their own custom data. Think about healthcare, think about finance data, think about banks. We have to control. So we rely on the data and we can query the data from normal users. And these are very important for us to understand that how these new Gen AI attacks we can protect. Okay, that is something I want to talk about. Now, when you come to the specific things, I will show you some new things which you have not seen, or maybe you've seen it but not like two things. There's something called as a prompt injections, right? If you heard about SQL injection, it's the similar pattern, but it's a different way, right? So what is, again, how I explained the prompt injection. So assume that you are a hacker and you want to manipulate your data model, right? So you put example, I want to have you trick it. So example, I have a real example which Microsoft actually showed in that, is that in hotel industries, somebody people can ask question about the rooms and other things. Think about in Paris, or any place in India, maybe in Kashmir, right? So the users are asking questions, but the hacker can use a Python script and manipulate the data model, or sorry, the prompt, not data model, prompt injections. And they ask data questions about what is the price, and all, and they can ask some questions about some sensitive information, right? The hacker and the scripts they can put. So that is very, very dangerous, right? So for the hotels, I mean, for that matter, any industry for that matter. We have seen about the wallet abuse as well, right? Again, people, I mean, if you use in Google Pay, right? A lot of people use Google Pay, and again, it can be easily hacked and used by hackers. If your AI is slightly more because it's not controlled, so hacker can easily hack your wallet, right? The digital wallet. Same thing in Singapore also. We have our own apps for things. And even I tell you really example that when I was traveling to in a bus, and somebody use my wallet, right? I mean, they can scan, and I lost around $200, right? Because my wallet I put only $200, so he can't do much. But I lost using my digital wallet. So this is very common. I'm not talking about AI in general. The wallet abuse is very, very common, right? Then we have something called as a hazardation, right? This is quite common as well. That I can ask some question, and AI was very confident that I know the correct answer, which is not, right. I'll give an example that you ask the question about who invented the light bulb, and the AI. I'm not talking about ChatGPT or Copilot, right? But the AI will tell that okay, the light bulb was invented by Albert Einstein in 1920, right? And we know this is correct, not a correct answer. The correct answer is Thomas Edison, right? So again, I'm talking about I work on the ChatGPT and also on the Copilot on the daily basis, and I've seen very incorrect results. I'm not talking about all the time, but very incorrect. So you have to correct and tell to, if example, if you want to share information to my management, right? I have to think about whether I'm that information which I'm getting AI is correct or not. Then you also do something as a normal NAML search, Google search, or the other research, which is actually right information. So don't rely on the AI prompt so easily, and don't rely on over reliance, right? I do ChatGPT and Copilot on the daily basis at least 100 times. I have to, my quota is over, so I'm using ChatGPT Plus because I use regularly. The quota in ChatGPT is very less, so I have to increase to my Plus because I use on daily basis. So I want to just tell you that hazardization is very common. Don't use it if, I mean, if in that, always do normal Google search or Bing search. That is give you right information. So I'm not telling it's correct, but something want to take note on that. Okay. And then the other things, which is data poisoning. Or what is data poisoning? So again, data poisoning meaning is that somebody give you a misleading information, incorrect data set. I know that data sets is coming from the data models, but people can have their own data models and trick you to answer these questions. And also, data poisoning is very common. It's real scenarios. Obviously, in the, not in Microsoft's technology at this point of time, we want to see in the thing, but it's quite common to have data poisoning, which means that the people can give a wrong information and then give you data, because your data is your prompts are based on that, right? So they will get wrong information. That is called a data poisoning because they deliberate add some data which is incorrect. Okay, and the other things is called as a model theft, right? So what is model theft? Model theft is actually means is that somebody copies your data model and into machine learning without the permissions, right? Think ChatGPT. Think about, obviously you can't do it, but in the open source is very common. The model theft is very common, and you never get permissions. And if a user are using that model, that is very risky, right? They can ask some questions about your health, think about your finances and all. So it's very common. So these are the common things which are but it actually is give your AI applications very highly insecure. Think about plugins, right? It depends on the developer, but you know the hackers have a slightly more advanced in technical side, so they can hack and then give you a wrong informations. So what I'm sharing with you is very real things, and then how Microsoft is trying to avoid these things, and then we can see in this next slides. Okay, now think about you're making an AI application. Okay, could be any application, right? So what happens, right? Here we have a user, we have our own custom application, right? It could be a low code, could be your Copilot, could be Azure API, and then that is our usage. Then we have actually our AI application, could be a Power Platform, could be Azure, could be any system which you want to integrate, right? So it can be using your web, can be use your data sources, can use your own applications, and it may integrate with your functions, Azure functions, or any other thing which were maybe Python code you want to use in Azure. That thing is also possible using your Azure OpenAI services. Okay, that is one thing. And the brain is about your AI model. It could be a one ChatGPT model. It could be one other model for videos, one for images. So we can have different models and different data sources. So this is the platform, and this is your entire data. So this is something which is quite common if your application is not secure. But what happens if the application is not secure? What will happen? So first thing, and now this is the font is very small, but I'm going to give you a thing, right? We talk about the prompt injection. The hacker, you see hacker is here. Hacker can ask some questions about your financial information, about your health, about anything, right? So it can be a prompt injection you can do, right? Data leakage, asking for something about your family, about your salary. That is something thing. Hallucination is very common, right? Give it wrong information to fetch your information about your private data, right? And the wallet abuse which you mentioned. So this is coming from the AI usage, from end user to your AI application. Okay. Then if I go to the hacker can actually integrate in your application, AI application. Data poisoning, which I mentioned to it, it can give some wrong information in your model. Then it can do some prop injections inside. And also it can do some jailbreaking. Now, jailbreaking, you know, right? Jailbreaking is that if you know in iPhone, it started with jailbreak with iPhones that you can actually modify the code, right? The problem with the iPhones, right? If you jailbreak, there's no support. Same thing if you do modify an AI model, there's no support as well. But hacker, they don't care. They just jail that the modification of the code so that the people are tricked and they get scammed. Right. So that one something which is very important. And the hacker can easily use that particular method. Right. And also model theft, I showed you model theft and the data poisoning at the models can be easily tracked. So because why I'm telling you, because AI is new, a lot of people can easily scammed and all because they have not seen the other things. So what Microsoft is trying to do, they're making these applications more stronger, more stable, and more security and governance is input. Now, what I'm taking you, what shared with you right now is about generic. Now I'm talking about how Microsoft is safeguarding us using these applications. Okay. Now, before we go to the things, we have to understand how our AI usage can be done. Does this application have safety controls? Answer is no, there's no safety control. Have you security policies that there's no security policies in our vanilla application? Do you have any visibility to the applications for the vulnerability? There's no vulnerability test given. Can security people can detect the things before they are deployed to applications? So these are the few when you build applications, you have to take care of these particular parts, right? Whether your application is secure, governed, whether these are you can do vulnerability test before you deploy. Those things are very, very important stuff, right? So how Microsoft is trying to integrate? Microsoft is trying to integrate by using 3 different products. Okay, using Microsoft Security and Azure AI services, right? So make it your application again secure, safe, and trustworthy. That is important thing to do. And what the 3 products now, I don't know many people know. I just want to give you what this application does. So preview Microsoft Preview give a comprehensive set of all your data sets, all your products devices, whether it can be your servers, could be servers on Azure or in the cloud, right? So give you that cycle, all things in your data security, it will give you those things. Azure OpenAI, we already know it's a set of AI tools which is a cloud and which can easily build your application with no code, pro code, or low code. Business code, everything can do, right? That is very easily we can do. And the last part is security, app security. So the very different ways we can do security using Microsoft Defender for cloud. And these are to protect your cloud resources, right? Now, again, I have a lot of people asking that this cloud is only for Azure. The answer is no. You can, if you have a AWS, GCP, Microsoft different cloud will actually try to scan, again, try to scan all their products, all their VMs and other things with this thing services. So Microsoft ensure how they can integrate. That is a good thing because now people who have expertise in Purview, they know how to use. As people who are expertise in, the new and Azure, they can just learn. But the Defender for Cloud is there for a couple of years. So what Microsoft always do, try to put the products in a ecosystem where people can leverage very easily. Whether it's a low code or pro code, they can use it. Right? That is something we can do. Okay, so this is usually used for that thing. So we have seen this security we can do for our on premises as well as for your cloud. We can do Azure AI. Now, this is one of the examples. One of the examples screenshot which I want to share with you. Now, this is the Microsoft 365 chat. Okay, now this in one of the examples, I'm using Microsoft 365 for Copilot, and I'm asking a question about a very important and a secret document, what is called as a project Obsidian. This is a very high security about chips, right? So this is a company is making an application which is highly secure, and somebody want to ask these questions about the what is the important documents for the project Obsidian, right? So now again, Copilot has a Microsoft Copilot has the security on that, right? So your compliance data, if you have rights, again, if you rights, you will see only three documents, right? But if you are a project normal person, right? You are a project team, but you don't have enough rights. Then you will see something called as confidential data. This data can't be seen because it's been done by the policies on the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And you see the yellow part. So a lot of things are done, which means this part the normal user can't see. If the user has slightly more permissions, then he can see slightly more documents because he has higher rights and for the project Obsidian. So that is something which is I want to show you with you that in even in the Copilot, we are what we're doing to securing the data. We are not oversharing it, and there's no jailbreaking here, right? That's what Microsoft 365 Copilot is trying to achieve. That all the three parts, the your Microsoft Preview, your Microsoft OpenAI, and Defender for Cloud, all things work together, right? That is something which we want to share with you. Now, before I just leave, I want to share that there are a lot of challenges when you work on the three personas. We have obviously we have developers, right, who are key people. We have another end users who are the business users and enterprises. Enterprise are very important for us, right? So they obviously the when the build, test, and fine tune data is mostly by the developers, right? And now because of the new technologies by built they now earlier there was lack of security. Now with the built with the preview and AI, now we can actually make and fine tune with high security, right? And the one thing which I want to show you is that with Microsoft announced in May that the purview integration with Copilot is in public preview. Okay, in by 10 it is not come, that's why I can't show you, but in public preview soon it will come to OpenAI Studios as well, right? So once I have a ready-made demo, which is not there right now because I can't access, maybe it's only available to US and other regions, not in Asia. But once I will show you that how actually it works. Okay, so this is entire Copilot story and the dependable story with OpenAI. How we can make our app, the Gen AI application, custom application in general. How we can more secure with no jailbreaking, no theft of the models, no prompt injections. With these particular things we can actually do very easily without any hassle, right? So a lot of things are coming in this particular this year FY 24. And once the things more things come, me and Throbin and our people to show you how actually it works in the actual real scenario. So that is my last slide. And I know you can ask questions, but something which you have, you can ask. I mean, if you have something which is you think that important. Yeah.
I don't think so, Aro. There are any question in the
Yeah.
chat window I can see at this moment.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
thanks a lot for sharing all those security aspects. I think it will really helpful, and obviously is the announcements. So when it actually available, we can go ahead with the demos.
Yeah. So thanks, Ruben. I'm very excited about your session. I want to learn more about newer things for your show.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. All right, so let's continue the build update with the Power Platform and a Wave to release announcement plan, which we do have. And as always, like these are all the announcements, so we don't have the demo for everything, but at least we will give you an idea that okay, which are the features which are available right now versus not available right now. So let's get started and have a look around that. So I'm quickly start sharing my screen here, and let's get started by looking at the build updates or wave 2 updates for Power Apps first. And again, it is the official Microsoft link releaseplan.microsoft.com, going through each update at very high level that which are the features which are available right now and when they are planning around the different feature sets. So let's get started. So first let's talk about some modern apps feature which are available right now, as well as they are planning to roll out into wave 2. So the first announcement is around Canvas app functionality through the code view. So again, this feature is already available right now. Whenever you are creating any kind of Canvas app, and when you open edit via code view, you can see code view section, and from there you can copy paste the code and make your things much more faster. So that's one announcement which already been available as an early release, and GA is planning in August 2024 at this moment. Second important update around modern apps is for modern Power Platform settings. Now, what is modern Platform setting? Let me just talk about that in a while. So let me just open up this screenshot. Just give me a minute. It's just loading. Okay. So right now we have observed that many times when you are working in the Power Platform, many times we are opening this kind of setting, and it is basically opening this Dynamics 365 setting for the different operation for Power Platform. Now the thing is that with the new update, they have introduced one more feature over there, where as an admin you can introduce the new environment setting behavior, and that's what is something which will be the new UI for the administration and management. Okay, so something like this will be looking like in the new UI. I know the screenshot is a little bit blurry at this moment, but this is how it will look like. And currently it's not fully available. This will be available soon in October 2024, which is generally available, and public preview will be from the month of August. So that's the second update. Then we have another update related some more grid features which are available to show your data efficiently in your model driven application. So they have done so many enhancement into model driven UI to manage the proper table reordering or styling of the list mode, and supporting sorting in the list mode itself, or command bar for the nested grids, and a column with a weight to specify the value if any column is not showing properly. So these all the features are planned as a part of the enhancement for model driven application. And again, GA for this is planned as October 2024, and early access you can already if your tenant is already in early preview, probably you can see these features right now inside your application. So have a look and try out this as well. I mean, it's already been available. Another new update is hide the legacy application for the administrator. Again, this is one model driven feature which will be available in the October, and admin should see only to use modern model driven application by hiding the legacy model driven app, and this ensures that admin have full product experience properly. So basically from the setting of model driven application, you can change the behavior of show legacy application for admins, and you have an option to turn it on or turn it off at that time. So that is also one more update which will be available soon. Another important update is related mobile devices and offline capability. So again, we know that data with Dataverse and model driven, you are able to create the offline capable app. But in offline capable right now, we don't have a fully flexibility that on, let's say for an example, if you have a very large table, then it's not possibility to, to show every column offline. So now you have an option or that you can choose the specific column, and you can manually select those column which you wanted to make it offline available for yourself. So that's also something which is available probably in July. It's already in the public preview right now, and in October 2024 it's planned as a GA. Then we have another interesting feature around the lookup of the record. So let me just talk about this feature. So specifically, again, in model driven cases, we have observed many times that we have lookup columns, and in lookup columns, we are selecting the record. So sometimes when you are selecting the record from your model driven applications, it's little bit slower. So this particular feature or the enhancement has made that process faster, and now you can select the record faster with the lookup control that is available in the model driven applications. So this is again one more modern app feature. Then uh, there is one more feature available called enhance delegation for update and remove if. So at this moment with the dataverse, we know that update and update, if you are using those kind of function, they are non-delegable function, which means that they are not working on more than 2000 record or 500 records. So with the new release, they are planning to make this function more delegable. So even after more than 500 or 2000 record, this function will be support now. So again, this is one exciting one because many times we are using update if function into the larger application, and that makes our life much more simpler. And public preview already been started for that, and GA will be in October 2024. That's what it is planned at this moment. Then again, this is most awaited feature, and just a minute. Uh, Manage your source code for the Canvas application. So developers can now view the underlying code to understand the functionality and source control and align with the healthy and robust ALM at the enterprise level. This feature also available as a part of preview at this moment. So basically, again, it is like storing the code file into a repository and automatic generation of the Canvas application. And some of the features are available like native Git integration for Power Platform and those things. So again, you can use Power Platform CLI right now to convert your MSF file into source code files. And with this feature, you no longer need to use Power Platform CLI to do this activity. Natively, this feature will be available, and you can read the YAML file format already into your Canvas application. So that's also another interesting one which will be available. So then Copilot for Power Apps and Maker users. So again, like we know that right now Copilot is already available at the Power Apps and Dataverse level. And right now the thing is that this feature already right now available. Probably you can try it out, and I have a dedicated video as well on top of that. So right now what happened here is earlier with Copilot, you were able to create the app with only one table. But right now, even with the complex ER diagram or maybe with a complex structure as well, if you want to create anything, you will be easily able to create with the help of Copilot and Power Platform. So now it come up with that functionality like multiple relationship tables and everything. You can do it with the help of Copilot, and slowly it is getting more mature as well. And again, this feature will be generally available in August 2024, which is cool. Apart from that, I just wanted to highlight one more feature, which is again very important, like co-authoring feature. We all are waiting for this particular feature. So specifically for the Canvas app, right now the biggest problem is that developers cannot work parallelly. Okay, model-driven app we still have that feature, but in Canvas app we don't have. And right now they are come up with co-authoring functionality, and it is possibility that in October 2024 we will be having this feature generally available, and that will solve our many real life challenges that multiple people or multiple developer will be able to work on the same application. This is another cool announcement which has been done in wave 2, and let's see when it come up with. And public preview will start from July 2024. Right now I haven't observed that feature in my tenant. Hopefully last week of July we will be having that soon, and in GA in October 2024 we will be having that available uh, across all the tenancy. Okay, so that's pretty much about Power Apps update. Uh, Let me talk about few things related Power Pages. At Power Pages level as well, there are some cool announcement has been happened specifically around administration and governance, design studio, Copilot, and professional developer experience. So basically in Power Pages now they have a separate security view to see the critical site detail and external authentication provider in Power Pages. So let's say for an example, if you forcefully want to disable any external authentication, then right now you have that functionality available for yourself. Same way for Design Studio level as well, many enhancement has been done. Like we can see like Power FX now you can write as well in your web template or on your Power Pages website. Also, you can generate the different and explain the power fx formula using the copilot as well. During that, you can improve the different site security within the different security screen, and there are many additional enhancement to the modern list as well, because ultimately power pages is not nothing but behind the scene uses model driven grid, and whatever model driven grid enhancement is they are we can see over here as a part of the design studio enhancement as well over here inside the power pages. And in power pages as well, copilot is there, so probably you can use the ai moderator for the community template or ai search in the community template, or use any ai thread customization to your community template. These all are the planned feature. What exactly they are, we will get more into detail when it will be available as a part of public preview in the month of November. But yeah, this is all they are planning at this moment. And a professional developer experience, so site checker from power platform cli, which also be available in august 2024 very soon. So many important aspects around power pages as well. Personally, I like the feature which is power fx in power pages, which is again a game changer, because we already using power fx with your power apps, power automate, and that makes life simpler with the power pages as well. So that's pretty much about the power pages and power apps enhancement. I'm just pasting this link in the chat window as well, that will help you to go ahead, and if you wanted to check the another announcement which are happening or over dataverse or any power automate or copilot studio level, you can check it out. Many different announcements are there, and as soon as they are available, we are always posting the posting more and more content around that on our social media handles and everywhere. So this is the reference link which you can refer and use it for more enhancement and update. So that's pretty much it from my end related specifically the Power Platform enhancement. Many more enhancement are there, so we are not going into nth level of detailing of each enhancement, but slowly, I mean, this is at the high level, so at least you will get an idea that what is coming up next as a part of the overall Power Platform suite over there. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. Uh, Now I would like to request our another organizer. I think Rajendra, are you there? Are you ready with your updates?
Yeah, I'm there.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. So thank you so much, guys, and stay connected with us on my social media handles where I'm posting the detailed featuring about this topic that we just discussed about Power Apps and Power Pages, and we'll go through more in depth over there. But yeah, this is all about the high level idea. So now I would stop sharing my screen, and I would like to hand over stage to my another co-organizer Rajendra to go ahead and uh, go with his updates.
Thank you, Dhruvi. Thanks, team. Let me know once my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. First of all, welcome after Microsoft Build team. I mean, after a long time, we are connecting. As a part of Microsoft Build, we are gathering and sharing the knowledge as an organizers. So I would just like to come up with a topic on co-pilots. So if you're observing currently the right, most of the organizations, even I'm working in the Microsoft as well as an external employee, where we will try to work on most of the activities as per the project related co-pilot, whether it will try to give the right analysis or not. So I have come up with an agenda with what is a co-pilot and how it is going to work, and how it is getting integrated with the Microsoft in both desktop as well as the Power BI services. I'm going to showcase you some cool features at the Power BI services level too, which has been recently added. And along with that, I will discuss about the benefits and limitations and the considerations too. First of all, this is an AI power tool, like a Copilot is coming with an AI based engine. With our natural language processing itself, we can try to turn our simple language itself, it will be get converted to the either it is a code if you are expecting, or maybe if you are trying to generate the visualizations. So it will try to ramp up and try to provide the in the canvases part. Maybe if you are adding in the code on the left hand side and try to pop up the visualizations in the center. So it will try to give a simple understanding, like complex logics we cannot able to add it. So some limitations are there which we are going to discuss at the end as well. So how it is going to work here? So as it is integrated with an AI features, where it will try to pop up some suggestions included with a Q and A features as well in Power BI. Likewise, we have some inbuilt features to where we can try to see the analysis for reducing the human errors. And the main important is it is going to use the generative AI, where for the creation of the report and even for the model level DAX query engines too, and for the creators of the report view. So once the report has been completed, we can even showcase the apps creator level, the Copilot functionality, where there also we can do the summarization of the complete page analysis, or maybe if you want to get add some new visualization